Clockwork Sound Podcast. This is your boy Drumatic,
your boy Diverse.
And we are back again. Today we were going to talk about the Logan Paul fight, the Usman stepping in to fight Khamzat, and what was the other fight we were going to talk about?
Islam and Volkanovski.
Volk. I'm going to talk about Volk a little bit. Yeah, so today, if you like fighting, this is an episode for you. Which one do you want to start on?
I think let's start with the Volkanovski Islam fight. Islam and Charles, I was excited for that fight because, like, Charles is like he was a little inconsistent, but when he's on, he's on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like I felt if we got a Charles Oliveira that was on against the Islam, that would have been a really good fight. I was excited to see that rematch. And then I heard, oh man, he got a big old gash right above his eye. Big one. Had to get like 32 stitches or something like that. And then they said, but the good news is we got a fill-in. We got goddamn Volkanovski.
Well,
and that's a crazy rematch in itself.
But before we even get there, do you feel that the Oliveira could even beat Islam? I mean, because let's be honest. It's like, what's his name? Oliveira turned into like a superhero. I mean, kind of. He started off as like, I don't want to say an average fighter, but just went on a great run. Started beating really good fighters for a long time and did his thing. But I don't know. Islam is like, say he's like Khabib 2.0. So that's like a different kind of beast right there.
That's what I mean about inconsistent though. Like, he started off like pretty good and like up and down. Then he like moved a weight class.
Mm-hmm.
And turned into a superhero and like flew through people, and then like hit Islam. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
and who just beat him up? Did he just lose? He lost recently, Oliveira. Maybe not his last fight, but recently.
Islam.
Oh, that's right. This is it.
So that was the rematch.
That's right.
And so that was a cool rematch, but now we're talking Volkanovski, Islam. Volkanovski's like the AI, bro. He's like one of them dudes that just like, he studies and learns you, and now he knows you. Everything. He shadows you. He knows everything you're going to do. He knows. God damn, that's a tough fight. I think
Volk's amazing.
I think Volk can pull the. If anybody can beat Islam, I think Volk can pull that off.
I agree. He's a different.
And I don't
he's
even
a savage,
pull it off.
man. He's a savage.
I mean, like, do it because of like, look what he's. Man, he just studies his opponent. Like, him and Max Holloway have like a great like trilogy of fights, right? And like, Max was on an unstoppable train for a while, and he's a legend. And Volk studied him up and down, and shadowed him, and took all that away from him. Like, took all of his attacks away. And if he could do that to Islam, I mean, you're not going to take his strength away. So if he grabs a hold of you, you're going to take the grabbing a hold of you part away. Mm-hmm. But if he grabs you, you're not going to be able to really do a whole lot of like, oh, I can make him not as strong anymore. No, you can't do that. But you can work on not being taken to the ground, not being grabbed. He's a lot to handle, and he doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
So, and neither does Volk, though. So that's what makes it so exciting. And I was more excited about that after I figured that out. Before, I would have thought I was more excited for that one, the Charles Oliveira fight. Excuse me.
Volk has a better chance of winning this fight anyway. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, so do I.
But I think that like he's got a better chance of winning this fight than his.
Yeah.
So I could be talking crazy, but I think like, and they even have him as the dog, bro. They have him as like a plus 200,
like a 240 or something,
or a 240. Like, he's a dog.
Yeah.
And only because he lost.
Yeah.
The first time, but I think what people are failing to remember is what he has done the last 5 years or whatever, that he's just been mowing people over.
Yeah.
Everyone they stick in front of him.
Volkanovski is one of the best fighters I've seen in a long time in the UFC. And that's why I don't want to move on to Usman, but like, so was Usman, you know? So that's why it's crazy to have two guys like that stepping in that are both dogs that would 99% of the time be favorites.
Sure.
So it's super bizarre for me to see that. So we just
especially
where we're
since Volk wasn't finished. He didn't get stopped. He didn't get finished.
Mm-hmm.
He got decisioned.
Yeah.
So that
and it was close.
And very close. But
Very
that
close,
speaks
yeah.
volumes on what kind of rematch
This ain't a wash.
This isn't nobody's
Yeah.
nobody's like ego got busted open. Nobody's mental psyche got busted. Oh my God, I just got, you know what I mean? Like I got knocked out, I got submitted, I got finished, I got stopped, I got annihilated. That didn't happen. So like there's unfinished business there for sure because of how close it was. And that's a little more exciting to me than the Charles Oliveira fight.
Yeah.
Because there was a stoppage there.
Mm-hmm.
It was exciting to see Charles come back and see what he does after being stopped. But this is like, man, nobody was stopped and it was a decision. And there's a little bit of controversy there of, ooh, he didn't stop him. He should have stopped him to get the belt. But so here we are. Right here. There was no question in the Charles fight, but there was some questions here, and so here we are. We're going to answer all those right now, and I think that, man, it could go either fucking way on this one because we've already seen Islam win once, but if I was to put dollar bills down, if I was going to slap money down, I'm betting on Volk to win this rematch.
Take the dog,
dude.
yeah.
No, I'm taking Volk to win the rematch for sure, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like Islam's one of those people, if you can stay away from him, right? If you can stay away from him and don't let him manhandle you, which Volk's good at. Volk will be fine. Because if they sit and stand, let's be honest, Volk can win that fight easy.
Sure, but
it's not like Islam's going to sit there and piece him up all day. Volk's fine on his feet.
But Islam's not
right?
Max.
Islam's
not going to try to stand.
I don't think so either. That's what I'm saying. So
he doesn't need that much space though to shoot. So, but if Volk
can
keeps
stay
that
away,
distance
Volk
and run the whole time, he's not going to win.
Yeah, if Volk can stay away though, not get taken down by Islam, because I really feel like if Islam doesn't finish Volk on the ground, I think Volk will win the fight.
Here's the deal though. Here's what I think. Like you can't run because you have to engage.
No, I'm not saying run.
You have to be close
stay
enough to engage.
Away.
And since Volk, he's got a long reach.
Yeah.
He's kind of short, but his reach, they're even in reach, and one's shorter. So when you got to get in there to engage, you gotta remember, if I can touch you, you can touch me, right? If we have similar reach. So if we're engaging and I can punch you, you can also be grabbed and taken down. So if you're always playing the outside of range game, that means you can't hit me either, right?
Yeah.
Unless I'm got Anderson Silva reach, right? Then I can play that outside game like bink bink and hit you from like way the fuck back here. But if we're pretty equal in reach, you can't play the outside game the whole time unless you're the wrestler, right? Because then you get him to chase you and you shoot, right? You get him to chase you and you just fucking boom and take him down. But
and Volk has really good takedown defense.
He does, and he's not the kind to sit back. So he's going to want to try to engage, which is cool because Islam wants to throw some hands too. But I think when it comes down to like wrestling, bro, don't let him grab you is the key. But you can't run from him or you're not taking the belt. You have to fight him. So, and when it comes down to like making him fight, you have to make him stand up and fight you. You can't let him.
You've even said before that Volk used to be just a big ass dude who's carries a heavy hand because he was a bigger dude,
gigantic guy
for his weight class. So, and Islam just seems to be he's just another one of those Dakistan warriors that you just don't want to mess with. So, I mean, what's your prediction? You want Volk, right?
I didn't say I want Volk.
Okay,
I said if I was going to put money down,
you're right.
I would take the dog in this one because I think that he's hungry now and he's mad because he wasn't finished and he's mad because he didn't.
Oh yeah, Volk don't lose.
So Volk coming.
Don't lose. Yeah.
I think he might do it. If ladies and gentlemen, if I was to I was to put $100 down on this fight, I'd put it on Volk. I personally would like to see Islam win, but I think if I was betting money, I'd put it on Volkanovski, and I think I would win my bet.
All right, so my prediction is, I honestly think Islam's probably going to win the fight, but I'm the opposite. I'm rooting for Volk. So I'm rooting for Volk. I think Islam has the upper hand just because...
You would put money on Islam?
No, I would put money on Volk.
Okay.
But here's why. Just because he's a dog and I can make money that way. I don't care if I lose.
That's the only reason, though?
That's really the only reason. If I put money on Islam, I ain't going to make any money anyway. He's a favorite, right?
But
listen.
He's a dog only in the fact that, like, you and I both know he's not a dog, bro.
No, but how do you not take 240 odds on
that's
Volk?
like,
You're never going to get that.
Okay, but that's like saying...
It's a gift.
That's like saying that you went to the dog fights at Mike Vick's house, and you got the first pick, right? And you're like, we're talking dogs here, right? So you picked
literal dogs now.
You picked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, like, he ain't the dog versus the little guy over there, like, and he's not. I'm not saying Islam's a little guy, but in retrospect, Volk's the man. You just said it yourself. He is not the dog in any conversation. So, but when they're giving you plus 240, you got to put your money there. But that's not the only reason why you'd put your money there, because you just said yourself you thought he could beat Islam.
Yeah, I do. I still think that. But if I have to pick a winner, so let's do it this way then. Take the $100, if you had to put money on it, take that out of it. Who's going to win the fight?
Who's going to win
We're
the
not
fight?
betting, yeah. Because I'd put money on Volk, but I honestly think Islam could win the fight.
I think Islam could win.
He's the favorite for a reason.
Sure.
I mean,
he already did.
Khabib just whoop people's ass over and over again in the most, like, hold down, manhandle you fashion for so long, and now this guy's the same way but a better striker than Khabib, and Khabib wasn't a bad striker.
No.
I feel like a lot of people just didn't think he was, but I feel like he was good. I feel like Islam is just, and this is out of his mouth, I've heard him say Islam's like a better version of himself. So if that's the case, why isn't this guy just going to run through his division like Khabib did?
Because right now it's hearsay.
I mean, he's done his job so far.
He's done his job so far, but it's hearsay on the fact that he's better than me, right?
Khabib was a freak.
Pretty much he's pretty much a fucking freak.
He's just a little bit...
For him to give it up to him, that's awesome. That's super props, and, like, it's probably very humbling, and it's like very heartfelt to Islam. But now that's also pressure to him to, like, now I have to walk in those shoes. I have to live up to that.
Yeah, and like, let's be honest, anybody's beatable. So if anybody's gonna beat up Islam, right, in this weight class, I think Volk can beat his.
So this is what I think. I think Volk wins and forces a rubber match.
You did.
Yep.
This is gonna be a Moreno.
This Volk wins and forces a third fight.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, there you have it.
Bet.
There you have it. There you have it. All right. So that's our predictions for the Islam and the Volkanovski fight. I mean, you're talking about two very, very good fighters, but I think that, Volk deserves it in a sense. Like, he's such a warrior. He's literally owned the stage for a while, and he's beat people up over and over again. So it's hard not to like Volk. He's a class act too. So
yeah, let's not forget
he's the man. It's just Islam's the new breed. You know, you get these new class of dudes that are just like beasts, and let's be honest, Islam's one of those guys. So
yeah, but let's not forget that Volk he's a veteran, and he's been in there and earned his stripes against veterans, not against these warm-up guys. And Islam's had a lot of warm-up guys. He's got
getting there. He's at the point now. Look where he's at.
He's had a victory over Oliveira and a victory over Volk, and I think that both of those are needed rematches to really solidify.
He did the big show, bro.
If he beats Volk,
he's there, bro.
This time, he doesn't even need to. I mean, yes, he does. He needs to beat Oliveira still to prove that he's like that guy. He's him, but he's on the road to being him. He's just not him yet.
He's not Himothy?
He's not Himothy. He's not Himothy Hemsworth yet.
Yeah.
But he's like...
He's
like him,
he's
Henry's.
on his way.
Yeah.
He's getting a name.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not Himothy Hemsworth yet, but he's fucking getting
He's not
there.
Himothy yet. All right, so we're going to move on to the next fight. And I think that this next one is even more exciting to be completely honest.
Now,
Like,
you laugh because it's Kamaru Usman. You laugh because of this guy. Kamaru Usman was like the Nigerian nightmare, right?
mm-hmm.
And I don't say was.
No, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'll tell you why I
It's
laughed.
Kamaru Usman.
I laughed mostly because, like, Strickland will get handled.
By either one of them.
Yeah.
But let's be real right now, dude. Usman was the man for a minute, bro. But the thing is he's never ever been sat down, and he's ever. So to get knocked out does something to somebody.
Yeah.
And he's never been knocked out before, and he got knocked
So you think
the
he's
fuck
going to
out.
be timid, yeah.
I think he's going to be timid. I think he's going to second guess rushing on a guy with that much power. Like coming in to try to engage. He will, but he's going to second guess, and there'll be a lot of feints, and there'll be a lot of, he's not just going to come in, he's going to try to be a counter fighter and rely on, I'm a great wrestler, and if this guy tries to wrestle me, then I'm going to shut him down. But now we're talking about Khamzat, who just trained to move up to fight a bigger fighter at 185.
Manhandles everybody.
And had a full fight camp and manhandles everybody. Against the guy who's taking a 11-day notice.
Yeah.
We'll give him 2 weeks. We'll say he took a 2-week notice just to be courteous. He took a 2-week notice. Has he been training? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, he hasn't been able to train super crazy because they made him wait X amount of time before he can do any contact after a knockout. 6 months. No sparring. So, even worse.
Yeah, but
even
you're talking
worse.
about Usman, man.
Even
Like,
worse,
this-
though. No.
You're talking about Mr. fucking Unbeatable, bro. Like that.
I know, but look, he got
Dude.
beat, though. Mr. Unbeatable got beat, but this is the thing that happens to this one you got to remember. Not only is it psychological, but when you get knocked out, it doesn't matter if it was. It doesn't matter if you were asleep for 5 minutes or for 15 seconds. The doctors say 6 months, no contact, right? No sparring. 6 months, bro, and
Yeah.
then you take a short notice fight against Khamzat.
Yeah.
Bro, that's dangerous.
I mean, that's the last person in the world you want to take a short notice fight against, of course. But listen, Khamzat, you were just saying these guys haven't proven themselves. Some of these guys, right? Khamzat definitely hasn't. He's new, and I know it's just a lot of people are ducking him. I know a lot of people run from him, but either way, he's like Barry Bonds. He's not getting pitched to. Even though he's knocking out of the park every time, he's not getting pitched to.
He had a dog fight with Gilbert Burns, and then people started to be like, "Oh, maybe I'll jump off that train of Khamzat."
Well, and Gilbert,
but they forget who Gilbert Burns is.
Gilbert showed Khamzat,
bro,
is human.
You're jumping to another level. No, Khamzat crossed a threshold to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
Had a fucking dog fight with a guy that people were like, oh, he's going to run through Khamzat. And he didn't. And it was a great fight, and I think that'd be a great rematch in itself right there. That was terrific fight. Khamzat got to really figure out what he was made of there. Mm-hmm. He's never had nobody fucking do that shit to him before, ever. So now...
Exactly.
Now we got a guy coming back of like, hey, I just went through hell, bro. And that guy, your fucking pitbull couldn't stop me. Now Big Boy over there wants to talk shit. Let's go. He had no problems jumping up to go fight Big Boy, and then he got hurt, and now he's gonna go back to 170 and fight Usman. Now, man, can Usman can beat him.
Listen, so here's why I think Usman's got a chance to beat him for sure.
Oh, he's definitely has a chance.
So for one, Usman's known to have the best takedown defense in the UFC. He literally, I think he's been taken down once or something.
Yeah.
It's like very small number. So I remember there's a long time where he hadn't been taken down. So I think someone finally did it. I can't remember who it was, but probably Leon, probably. But either way, he's got such good takedown defense. Khamzat is just good at. He'll stand with you, but that's not his thing. He likes to grab you, slam you in your head, finish you in like 5 seconds. Like that's what he does. He just bullies you, right? That doesn't work with Usman. You know that. It's not going to work with Usman. So Usman will stay away from that, right?
But I will combat you here.
Usman's got super good hands.
I will combat you here, though.
So if he throws with Usman, Usman can take him too.
I will combat you here.
I just don't know how
a takedown is Khamzat going to shoot and try to take him down? No. But you know what he's going to try to do?
He will.
No. You know what he's going to try to do that will work? He's going to body lock and grab him and just try to pick him up and dump him. You know, like give a little leg sweep to kick his leg up a little bit and just pick him up, brute strength, and just throw him on the ground and get on top of him and then just try to, you know what I mean, do what he does. Because I don't think technically he's going to shoot, grab a single leg, and take him down because guess what? Fucking half the UFC couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So good luck trying to shoot a double leg or a single, but can you pick that motherfucker up because you're strong and like give a little boost on his foot, like just a little kick one foot out, pick him up and use his momentum? Absolutely he can, especially if we're talking about on the fence.
So we were talking about underdogs before. Usman's also an underdog.
He's an underdog for one of the first times in his fight in a long time. But I think here
it was like 300 or something.
I don't take him. I think he loses this fight this time. I do think he loses, and I'm not swinging on the nuts of Khamzat. I just think we got a full fight camp. We got a bigger guy who's on coming off of wins, and we got a guy who's coming off of a knockout loss and not a full training camp and short notice, and that's what I don't like. So as a betting man, I don't take that dog, which, you know, could it pay out and end up being the way to go? It could, because of who it is we're talking about.
I mean,
but we also got to remember, bro, after that button's been pushed once, that button gets bigger, bro. That button doesn't get softer, it just gets bigger.
So this is what you're telling me, bro. You're telling me that no one's going to beat Khamzat.
Nope, that's not what I said.
That's what you're telling me.
No, it's not.
You want to know why you're telling me that? Who could beat Usman? Don't
Leon
say
Edwards.
Don't say I knew you were going to say that, bro. But let's be honest. He got completely worked that whole fight and then got lucky.
Wait a cotton-picking second.
What?
This fight's at 185 because the winner gets Strickland. Oh my God, bro! I just realized this is not a 170 fight. This is at 185. Now he's a dog. He's a dog for sure.
Who is?
Usman's a dog for sure.
Oh.
He's got to go up in weight class for the first time.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, because the winner gets Strickland.
Yeah. And
Strickland just won at 185. Why am I just now putting this together, bro? What an idiot. This is a whole different fight. This is crazy.
So now you think Usman's going to get worked?
I think Usman loses for sure.
He's going to get that smoke.
He loses for sure just because he's going up. And I know everybody's going to be like, so is Khamzat. But Khamzat's a bigger fella. He drops a lot of weight to make 170. Usman probably drops a good amount of weight to make 172, but he's never fought 185.
I like Khamzat, but I want to see someone whoop Khamzat's ass. Straight up.
Yeah, I could jump on that. I could feel you there, but I don't think it's gonna be.
He needs to get home.
I don't think it's gonna be October 21st against Usman, though. I don't think so. I think it's gonna have to be somebody else. I think he goes. This is the problem, though. He beats Usman. He beats Strickland. Now he fights Adesanya again.
Mm-hmm.
Or not again, but he fights Adesanya. Now he gets beat up.
All right. So, what's your prediction? I feel like I already know.
Yeah, I got Khamzat winning.
So you got Khamzat.
I can't say. I'm just saying straight up. I'm saying straight up. I'm not getting technical. I'm not saying how. Straight up, Khamzat wins.
Sure, I was just gonna say, do you got any kind of predictions, like what round you think he's gonna finish him? Or you think he's gonna go distance?
I think he's gonna finish him, bro.
You know?
Yeah. Only because of the fact that, bro, I think it's just a big weight difference, going up 15 pounds and never doing that before. Short notice, just coming off a knockout loss, and like going up against a guy powerful like that's just gonna fucking. If he touches your button again, bro, and not if, just when, because he does. He hits people hard, and he's not super technical and like bap bap straight punches. But when he's like a Vanderlei Silva, right? Yeah. Vanderlei Silva never threw a straight punch in his whole life, but when he hit you with those fucking loopy ones, and he did, they just rocked your fucking world, and that's what's gonna happen. And he's strong. I think I'm calling it, bro. Khamzat's gonna stop him at 185. At 170, different fight. We'll have a whole different conversation on that rematch. Yeah. But this one at 185, I got Khamzat, bro.
All right, so he likes Khamzat. As you can tell, I want Usman to win this fight.
Dude, if he did, that'd be nuts.
And I really think Usman can win this fight.
That'd be so nuts.
But as much as I want Usman to win the fight, Khamzat is that dude. Like, people duck this guy. They run from him. People don't even want to fight this guy. Like, there's something about Khamzat that is, like, Incredible Hulk-like. And so, because of it, I'm going to go with Khamzat to win this fight because nobody's proven they could beat him yet. So I'm going to roll with Khamzat, but I'm rooting for Usman.
Now, I'll tell you this. I go for Khamzat too, but if I was going to go bet money for the fact that I could win money, like you said earlier, I would go stick a good chunk of money on Usman just for the fact that, dude, he has the ability to beat Khamzat and shock the world. Especially at being bigger with his hands that he has. But I just fear his timidness, and I fear his chin, and I just fear he's going to be fighting on his heels and on his toes at 185 on the road he took now. So I think I'd put the money there at just what I was willing to lose in the hopes that I would win a big one. But I got Khamzat at 185, bro. At 170, let's have this conversation over. But not at 185, bro. There's no way, bro.
So, if you got $50 to lose, why not throw it on a 2-team with Volk and Usman? You never know. Both those guys hit.
I got
both
Volk
those guys
winning,
hit.
though.
You'll actually make some money out. That $50 will make you.
I got Volk winning though. I got Volk winning though. I really do think that you can't stop that.
Those are both
now.
underdogs. You're not going to get underdogs that fight that well normally. So. You know, like I said, if you have it to lose, it might not be a bad bet.
And Volk also, to go back that direction, Volk, and I know they all say this because they're never going to tell you, like, oh, I got injuries and blah, blah, blah. But Volk said he didn't get hurt in that fight, and he was right back in the gym after he fought Islam the first time. And I know that Islam probably didn't get hurt either, but a fresh, not hurt, pissed off Volk is probably a little more dangerous than a comfortable champion Islam trying to defend his more comfortable, I would say, defending his title against somebody he already beat.
I'm going to be honest though, like, we'll move on to Logan here now, but I just want to say, I think you have been downplaying Islam this whole time though. I'm not going to lie.
I think he's a fucking ferocious beast.
I feel like you are, as much as I love Volk and I'm rooting for Volk, I love it. Islam's a savage.
I don't disagree at all. I think Islam is a total savage. I just think on that night, Volk's going to be the better guy, and there will be a third fight. There will be a third fight. I hope so. I promise. Because if he wins, if he beats Volk, there's no third fight. Yeah. Volk's got to go to a different weight class. Right? Well, this is a different weight class for him, and he's still a 45er, but he's got to go back home. He can't be doing the 55 no more because that's 2 strikes. Yeah. You're not going to get a third because there's somebody else that's going to... Now it's Charles Oliveira's turn, right? After he gets it, his stitches are going to heal, and he'll get to come. Fuck, I wonder who the fuck... He said in the 5th round of sparring, Oliveira gets a nasty elbow to the... Okay, dickhead. who's sparring me 2 weeks before my fight? Who throws a fucking elbow at a guy fighting for the goddamn belt in 2 weeks? Right, like, wha-bam, right over on his fucking eyebrow, dude. What dickhead does it? Sounds like a Sean Wright move. Like, he'd do to me, and they'd be like, oh, thought you had Teflon skin.
Well, you just made me think. Like, I don't mean to get all conspiracy theory on you, but, like, you know how we always talk about UFC's kind of went towards the WWE type route and all that. It is pretty ironic that the two step-ins had 2 injuries at the last minute and had Usman and Volk step in. It's a great power move.
Hey, I'm
not saying it was set up, but that's a great power move.
One thing before we move on to Logan Paul and Dillon Danis, because since we're in the UFC, and I think this is a good thing to touch on. I don't know if you heard about it, but how do you feel about the UFC and USADA, the United States fucking anti-doping, United States Anti-Doping Association, splitting ways? They're not going to use, UFC's no longer going to use them. So, they're going to use somebody else.
I was going to say, here's my question.
But they're not USADA.
Are they going to ban testing for steroids altogether?
Or
are they just going to find a different company to do it?
I don't believe that they're just going to abandon it because that won't last very long.
Yeah.
But what I do believe is, why are you... What they're talking about is it has to do with Conor.
That's what oh, really?
It has to do with Conor. Because Conor just jumped back in the USADA pool. Because he can't... So what they said is you can't fight until you've been in the pool for 6 months, bro. Negative. Whenever. Yeah. And he threw a Conor fit, and so did Dana. And then all of a sudden they're splitting ways, and it's like, okay, so what's next? And if this is about Conor, that could be a whole different episode and a conspiracy theory. But everything I've seen so far, everything has said because of Conor. And it was MMA Weekly, which is a credible source. It was UFC, a credible source. It was Ariel Helwani, a credible source. It was guys that are credible. It wasn't just Facebook saying, oh, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's kind of what makes me believe that it has something to do with Conor. And Conor's one of those guys that stirs up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So, I also heard that if that's the case, John Jones wants his victory back, his one loss.
For sure.
He's like, if that's the case, I want that shit back. Now, are they gonna let just people fucking shoot up a bunch of steroids and just go fucking beat each other up like Neanderthals? No, because they'll get canceled right away, because that's not gonna happen. They're not just gonna let people get all fucking jacked and kill each other in there. Because, you know, guys won't tap and shit.
Conor always is like changing the game. He's like such a powerful force to where he just kind of does what he wants, and people... Well, at least Dana.
I think he's got a silent partnership in the UFC because of all the stuff he's done for them. Because of, you know, he went all wacko, right? He was their poster boy. He was I'll throw a chair through a fucking bus like WWF style.
He did change.
I'll throw Monster Energy drinks at Nate Diaz. Yeah. I'll fucking go at Khabib and his dad and his religion and his country and everything. Do all that stuff to, you know what I mean? Create a storyline. Yeah. I think that he created a lot of pay-per-views, filled a lot of seats. He made a lot of money for the UFC.
He's got a lot of other people too trying to follow his lead.
Whatever Conor wants, Dana's like, yes, sir. Yeah. You know, just enter cock here. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And debate me about that. I think Dana hooked him up with fucking lawyers to get him out of trouble when he got on all the dumb shit he did outside of UFC. Yeah. Remember when he slapped that old dude off a bar stool and shit? Like,
I know, you know, and I've like learned to like Dana over the years, but like, it's stuff like that I've never really liked about Dana. I don't like the fact that he like has his favorites. If he doesn't like you, he just doesn't like you, and it's like, fuck off, right? But if you're like one of his favorites, he's kind of willing to do whatever for you. So, and I've heard he's done nice things for people, and that's why I was starting to like him. But then I hear about all this crazy shit, and I'm like, I mean, nah, dude, I don't
See,
I don't know. I
Dana's
don't know how
a
I feel about
businessman.
Dana.
That's what you got to think. You got to take him.
He's selfish, is what it is.
He's a businessman, so
Yeah.
sure he'll have his personal relationships with people and all this and all that. But if you notice, most of the ones he has bad relationships with are ex-poster childs.
He's just, yeah.
You know he doesn't have a good relationship with Tito. He doesn't have a very good one with Chuck. He doesn't have a very good one with Matt Hughes. You know what I'm saying? And these are all people that were poster childs. GSP, maybe, but you don't ever hear him.
I think he turns on people.
He's got to. He's got what he got out of you, and now he's done. Fucking, you're on your own, kid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I get
but
that.
not Connor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He might have a little piece in there, and that's why he's got to suck on the teat. You know what I'm saying? Because Connor ain't GSP. GSP will beat that ass.
Yeah.
Even in today's world, bro. He already showed when he came back and fought.
You heard that.
When he came back and fought Bisping. Bisping's not Connor by any means, but he came back and fucked Bisping up at 185 and took the belt and then was like, you guys can have it back. I'm going to retire again. He just did that shit to show y'all he's the man still, bro.
Yeah.
The man, bro.
All right, well, let's move on to this Logan stuff. So,
Your favorite?
my favorite, yeah, for sure. We got Logan Paul versus
Dillon Danis.
And I'll tell you this, like,
Fucking clown.
me and him we've been joking
sports,
around
bro.
about this all week, and I'll tell you, I mean, it's hard to take this stuff serious because after what Jake's done and how Jake's kind of out there trying to prove to everybody he's this boxer, like, I'll tell you this, I think that Paul or Jake trains boxing all the time, takes it serious, probably a decent athlete, and could probably beat some people up. So I believe all that part. I don't necessarily believe in the outcomes of some of these fights, so we'll leave it at that. Now we got Logan, big bro, who's trying to always compete with little bro, right? And we don't, it's kind of pathetic when you watch it because you're just like, bro, let him have his shine.
Bro,
you have his shine. Yeah, quit being like a hater about the whole thing. But Logan's fighting Danis, and I can't stand Logan Paul. I think he's irritating and annoying. I've heard a lot of bad things about dude. He just is a complete dirtbag. But Dillon Danis ain't exactly the most liked human being on the planet either. And I think
also not a very good combat sports participant.
And that's a lot of this is so people know that he's not the most likable person, but they're also, you could not like someone and be like, wow, he's a badass. Dude whoops people's ass, right? It's like we were just talking about, like, you might not like Khamzat.
But you can't say
but
Dillon's
Khamzat's going to
whooped
beat you
anybody's ass,
Yeah,
bro.
so that's the issue.
Because I'll tell you this, on record, on fucking video, bro, you give me $500 and I'll beat the fuck out of Dillon Danis in a boxing match or a kickboxing match.
There you go.
You don't even, tell you what,
we
bro.
We just started our podcast. We already got celebrity boxing.
For free. You don't even have to pay me.
So
you don't have, and tell you what, and if he wins, I'll give him $500 just for being a good sport. But ain't no way in goddamn hell he's beating me in a boxing or kickboxing match ever, bro.
Well, we didn't waste any time.
Ever.
Did we, folks?
And I'm twice the guy's age just about. And I'll beat the dog piss
What weight
out of
class?
him.
What weight class?
Fuck, whatever he wants.
Yeah.
What's he
no,
fighting?
you guys are different. I don't know his weight class.
I'm about his weight.
Well, I'll tell you, Logan's huge, so they must be big. Probably like 205, right?
Danis is probably a 180, 185er. Yeah. And I tell you what, you're right up my alley, bro.
Logan's pretty stacked, but he's a douchebag, and I'm not saying he can fight.
Dude, I barely have to train to beat you in boxing or kickboxing, bro. I beat the dog shit out of
you. Who are you rooting for?
I hate the fact that he wants to be. I mean, both of them want to be a fighter, but god damn it,
at least one of them.
I will tell you who's gonna win.
At least one of them actually had fights.
I'll tell you who's going to win. Logan Paul is going to fucking destroy him in an embarrassing fashion.
And why do you feel that way?
Because Dillon Danis cannot fight his way out of a wet paper bag. He can barely wrestle old men. He barely. The guy.
He's pretty good. He got pretty good.
At what? At jiu-jitsu?
He's pretty good jiu-jitsu, right?
He's a pretty decent, for a guy who's done it his whole life, he sucks ass.
Okay.
He's pretty decent for a guy that grapples, I guess. But I could name a handful of guys I know personally that would tap him out within 1 minute. Personally. I know them personally, local guys here in Olympia that will tap him out in under a minute. And this guy's supposed to be like a world class. I can't even put his name and world class in the same sentence. I think he's trash. He's a despicable name to put next to boxing or anything that's combat related.
But Logan isn't?
Logan, I'll tell you what, Logan boxed Floyd Mayweather.
So you like this celebrity bullshit?
But at least he's stood in there with somebody who actually fought before.
And probably paid him to lose.
He maybe did, but
or
he at least stood in there. He at least stood in there with a guy who's actually fought before. Yeah. Dillon's never fought anybody.
Dillon's had a UFC fight, hasn't he?
Dillon has had a fucking... No, Dillon's had not a UFC fight.
He's never had one UFC fight.
He might have had an MMA fight on an amateur level, but never been in the UFC. That guy...
Your assistant. Look that up.
Check this out. If Dillon Danis was to ever be in the UFC, then that's one of those charity or celebrity things. You know how they had CM Punk in the UFC for a minute? It'd be kind of like that.
But he's not. CM Punk's famous in the wrestling.
But he can't fight,
Dillon's just not famous, is what I'm saying.
But he can't fight. He can wrestle a little bit, but I'm telling you, there's nobody he can beat in a grappling match from the UFC.
I'm not sticking up for him. I'm not saying Duke can fight.
He can't
and I'm not even saying he's going to win. I actually think Logan's going to win.
He's going to win.
But Logan is such a douchebag.
He's a doucher.
Like, I'm telling you, that guy is a dirtbag. And, I mean, his brother, Jake, who no one really likes either, to be honest, seems like a much better person.
Bro, Charlie Zelenoff would beat Dillon Danis in a boxing match.
Would Charlie Zelenoff?
100%.
Charlie Zelenoff would probably beat up Jake Paul.
In a boxing match?
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, he would.
Nah.
Yeah.
No. Just because...
Hey, Charlie Z.
Check it out.
You and Jake Paul. I want to see it.
I
got
reason
you, bro.
I say that...
Charlie Z is going to knock out Jake Paul.
The only reason I say that is just sheer size and power. And Jake Paul, at least... I mean, not